The way this actually works is currently the average interest on the US debt right now, approximately 40 trillion, approaching 40 trillion, is 3.3%. In order to keep the Ponzi scheme alive, America has to have a growth rate above 3.3%. If you don't have a growth rate above the average cost on the debt, then you enter into the unwinding of the cycle, which would be a recession and a depression. Every time that happens, they need to find a new way of printing money in order to try and stimulate growth. One of those is fund the military industrial complex, create war. But the problem is with that is it extracts wealth from the average American person because they end up with the debt and the company ends up with all the profits. And so in order to keep the Ponzi alive, you have to extract all the assets from the average person, excuse me, and the economy becomes a mechanism for rolling over. Now, you have to have growth above the average cost of the debt. What's happening right now? In this global reset, where all energy and 50 different supply chains are being renegotiated, the projected growth rate for America is approximately 2% this year and 1.7% next year. At the same time, the 10-year treasury and the 30-year treasury is spiking, not as much as the rest of the world, but it's spiking up to dangerous levels, 4.5% and 5%. So now you need to roll over $7 trillion of debt at either 4.5% or 5%. The only solution to that was what Trump tried to do. He tried to regime change the Federal Reserve and enforce low yield bonds on the short term by effectively dumping them on Americans. So the largest foreign lender to the UK, to the US government right now is Cayman Islands, which is the hedge funds. So what he tried to do is he tried to force interest rates down artificially low, by regime changing the Fed. And then they could be dumped on American people and American pensions, and you could subsidize the demonetization
What's going to happen
of this program.
What's going to happen because of this action or attempted action?
Well, effectively, that's all gone wrong. So now we enter into an inflationary cycle because this war was meant to be short. It looks like the IRGC put up a bigger resistance than anyone imagined was possible.
We're going to cover that.
So now you won't get the short-term rates down. The long-term rates are rising. Oil prices are going up, so you've created a supply shock and inflation, so you can't get those rates down. And growth is going to go down at the same time as unemployment. That is an absolute disaster. I do not want to reiterate how bad things are going to get from here. I'm not one to say doomerism. I've always believed they could keep this Ponzi scheme going for quite some time. But the growth rate is going to be significantly below the average interest rate, which means that the only solution here is to print more money than COVID, more money than long-term capital management, more money than the global financial crisis, and experience the same economy of the 1973.
Well, Simon, here's my issue.